Many of you have enjoyed my recent analysis on Mercado Libre stock, ticker symbol MELI. The stock is still down about 18% from its all-time high. It's up a little bit today, but it's still down 18%. And I told you guys I'm looking into the stock. I might potentially buy the stock. I haven't bought it yet. I'm going to tell you why, talk about the stock a little bit about the risks, the upside potential. And many people believe that Mercado Libre is what Amazon was 10 or 15 years ago. I see a lot of similarities, but I also see some concerns, and I'm going to talk about them today. So I really hope you enjoy it. Now, Mercado Libre operates in 19 countries with 600 million in population and a total GDP of $5.5 trillion, mainly in Latin America. The biggest market for them by far is Brazil, massive market for them. Then you have Mexico, then you have Argentina, which as you could see here, has been experiencing massive economic growth. And then you have other countries, 19 in total. And you could really appreciate the growth of MELI. It's been absolutely amazing. Every single market has grown in a major way. And the company has been a growth beast, really. Now, the special part about Latin America is they still have a much lower e-commerce penetration than the rest of the world. China sitting at 32%, UK 29%, US 24%, Latin America is at 13%. So you're not just betting on the company itself growing, the company also has massive macro tailwinds behind it that's going to help fuel growth for many years to come. Now, the best part about MELI is that MELI has kind of copied the Amazon model of being vertically integrated. They own their own trucks, their own planes, their own logistics, their own vans, deliveries. They control everything. And they have by far the fastest speed of delivery in the entirety of Latin America, with over 173 million items shipped in the same day or next day shipment. And this is unheard of in Latin America. No other competitor can even match it. Now, the best kind of part about MELI, I always say the best part because there's so many businesses, but what really makes it special is Mercado Pago. And this is mainly their financial arm. They have digital accounts, payments, savings and investment, credit cards. They're very popular for their credit card. And a lot of people that don't shop from Mercado Libre's website, e-commerce website, they use Mercado Pago for other kind of things. So the TAM here is huge. It's not just the MELI shoppers, it's also shoppers that shop everywhere else. The credit cards are very popular and a lot of people use Mercado Pago. Over 72 million monthly active users, which is up 29%, and it's been increasing like never before. So the growth here is really amazing. Now, the biggest difference between Amazon and Mercado Libre is if you think of e-commerce in the United States, if you think of online shopping in general, the first thing that comes to your mind is Amazon. It's the undisputed beast. It's not even close. But if you're in Brazil and you're thinking of e-commerce, you have Amazon in Brazil, you have Mercado Libre, you have Shopee, which is owned by Sea Limited. That's another beast. You have Temu, you have Shein, you have AliExpress. You have so many different players. And I talked with a lot of people that live in Brazil, and they told me they use different websites for different needs. If they need something to ship it very quickly, they use Mercado Libre because no one is even close in terms of the speed of delivery. If they want more items, lower price, cheaper items, they use Shopee. Shopee is very active in Brazil, and you could look at this data of the monthly active users on the app. Shopee is actually ahead of MELI in terms of monthly active users. If they want something on the cheaper end from certain clothing, they use Temus, they use Sheins, they use other kind of websites. If they want something that's higher quality, something that's important, something that has to do with technology, they use Amazon. So it's not like in the United States, I need something, just order it from Amazon. That's not the case in Brazil and in many of those markets. Sometimes they order from Amazon, sometimes Shopee, sometimes Mercado Libre, and Shopee has been investing in infrastructure to try to match the speed of delivery of MELI. They're not going to get there anytime soon. It's going to take them a few years, but they're investing and there's a lot of competition. So it's not just like Amazon is the king in the US and MELI is the king in Latin America. It's almost, you could say, but there's still a lot of competition, and the competition is fierce. And it's so fierce that the head of Mercado Libre in Argentina has called for tougher regulations on fast-growing Chinese e-commerce platforms in Latin America. And in the first half of 2025, Temu's monthly active users in the region has soared 143% to 105 million people from a year ago. So you could see the massive competition over there, and there's not enough tariffs on a lot of those Chinese goods, especially in Brazil. A lot of other Latin American countries have imposed some tariffs, and it has helped Mercado Libre, but that's not the case in their largest market, which is Brazil. Now, to respond to that, Mercado Libre has lowered the free shipping threshold to 19, I believe, Brazilian real. They lowered it. It was, I think, 75 or 79. They lowered it to 19. So more items right now qualify for free shipping, and they did it due to the competition on Mercado Libre. And this is a latest article. It says there's a social media post that show customers often browse on Mercado Libre, but they complete the purchases on Temu or Shopee to use free shipping coupons, because those websites, they give you free shipping on most of those things, even if delivery times were longer than Mercado Libre's 24-hour shipping. So having access to cheaper goods is key for a lot of people in Brazil and a lot of those places, and they're willing to wait a few more days if they can get something cheaper, if they're not paying for delivery, which is why Mercado Libre was forced to lower the free delivery amount in terms of a threshold. And that has weighted on their margins, their operating margins, from 13.5%, 12.8, 12.1, 9.7% as of the latest quarter. And that's a big indication that there's massive competition in America and especially in Brazil. Now, that's not as bad as it sounds. And Amazon has kind of gone through the same process, you could say. And that's an interview from Jeff Bezos back in 2013. And I want to read it to you. He said, percentage margins don't matter. What matter always is dollar margins. They're not valued on percentage margins, but how many dollars they actually make. And that makes a lot of sense, especially as an early company that's expanding. They're willing to sacrifice margins, sacrifice profitability in the short term for them to gain market share, gain more popularity. And as more and more people are accustomed to using Mercado Libre, then Mercado Libre can, over the long term, focus on increasing margins. But increasing margins should not be their priority in the short term. They should be focused on gaining market share, and they have the edge. They have Mercado Pago, massive ecosystem flywheel. Then they have the faster delivery, and they're trying to kill the competition. And if they have any regulation on tariffs on Chinese goods, that's going to help them in a major way. So I'm excited to see what happens, but you could clearly tell there's much more competition in those areas than Amazon in the United States. And by the way, I'm using Fiscal.AI to come up with all those charts. If you want to try it out, they give you 2 weeks of free access if you use my link in the description. Now, looking at the revenue growth has also been decelerating from 78%, 52, 40%, 37, 36. This year is expected to be about 37.5. Next year, the analysts are expecting a deceleration to 29%. And then 22%. I think it's possible, although I doubt it, because the last quarter of MELI was absolutely insane. I believe they grew 33% in FX neutral revenue. I mean, that's really unheard of, and they've been accelerating again. So I'm not sure if that's going to drop in such a major way, but I would not be surprised. I would not expect the company to sustain 35 and 40 and 45% revenue growth forever. As the company matures, it's natural for their revenue growth to eventually decline. But the valuation has declined as well. It went from 70 times earnings 2 years ago, now trading at about 39 times earnings. This is a much better valuation for MELI, but even 39 times may sound expensive. But if you look at the growth that have been putting up from MELI and the expected growth, which is 48% in earnings per share 2026 and 40% 2027, 39 times is nearly not as expensive as it sounds. But this is my valuation model on MELI. I put in the current earnings per share for 2025, 4010. I put in 48% revenue growth, 39%. I think earnings per share growth, which I believe is fair. Then I took in a deceleration to 30%, 25, 25, 20%, which I also believe is fair. As the company is going to grow, it's eventually going to decline in growth. And I think that's fair. Current P is 39. I put it at 30 times earnings. Based on the current price, I'm saying 125% on the upside, or 17.6% CAGR or annual return over the next 5 years with a high quality company like MELI. In my opinion, this is not bad at all. I still believe MELI is a buy, and I'm not sure why I haven't bought it yet. I kind of bought it on Amazon, and I have SoFi, and I have Robinhood, and I have a lot of growth-oriented names, and I've been trying to, concentrate my portfolio a little bit more, but I haven't bought MELI yet. I think the company is solid. I think this is clearly an opportunity, you could say, but I would also be mindful of the competition, what happens with, I forgot to even mention TikTok, which is a big player. You have Shopee, Amazon, Temu, Shein, AliExpress, and there's so many different competitors. So it's not as obvious as Amazon US and MELI in Latin America. Maybe it's going to happen this way over the long term, but as of now, there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of economic bets that you're making. So it's not just Brazil. You have to bet on the economy of Argentina, the economy of Mexico, and the economies of 16 or 17 different countries. But as you can see here, there has been many different macro environments, and MELI has grown in every single market despite the macro environment. So the company is a beast. I like it very much, and that was my opinion on MELI. It was not financial advice. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please press the like button and maybe consider subscribing. So I'll talk to you in another video.